Hey guys, it's Rudy G Funk. I wanted to start off this video with a little bit of an apology, for just the raw footage and some of that probably looks like your tired grandma talking into a phone. But I appreciate the guys that watch my stuff. It looks like they watched about a minute of it, so that's kind of cool for just starting off, I guess. But what I wanted to talk about today was Nick Chubb. And the L factor. I call it the L factor because, what's that one thing that every great athlete has over their peers or whatever, whether it's LeBron or Kyle Dake, from Cornell or Jordan Burroughs, whether it's a ballerina, whether it's a tennis player, you name it, they have this L factor, which is like leverage. How they you know how they distribute their muscles, their power, their speed, everything. They always kind of have this over everybody else. And I really wanted to talk about Nick Chubb, not only because he's a Brown, but just kind of analyzing him through the draft. You watch Common Man Football, Pro Football Focus, Vogue Lombardi. I really love these guys on YouTube. These are real great tubers. And if you don't watch them, I certainly recommend these guys. He's got really good numbers. He's got like Pro Bowl numbers. But, that whole eye test thing, everybody kind of talks about. He checks almost all the boxes, and like except for like injury, and like his whole passing game, which I think the whole passing game can be explained away, in my opinion, because if you see what Chubbs is, you realize why they're using the kid the way they do. Saquon Barkley, Penn State's a little bit different. They use him a lot of different ways. They use Chubbs, for the grind. But the kid's got great. He really checks all, like I said, checks all those boxes with power, his vision. If you and don't just watch the highlights, because I know it's a lot funner to just watch the highlights. But if you watch, like all handoffs or whatever by Chubbs, even the bad plays, you kind of try to diagnose, and I don't want to say defenders are lucky tackling them, but, for the most part, even some of these bad plays where he's tackling the backfield, or sometimes, most of the times there's 2-3 guys on him, with Alabama, they kind of had that whole Pittsburgh gang tackle, like they're whispering to each other, like, hey, Chubbs, let's get him, or whatever. But, it took a really good tackle to get this guy. I'm not saying he never got tackled by one guy, but it was rare, and I would say more rare compared to the rest of the running backs. And I'm not saying the rest of these guys aren't going to be good, but I think Nick Chubb's going to be something really special when it comes to Tyrod Taylor or Baker, whoever really gets out there. He's going to be a huge factor if they play him enough. Of course, we got the X factor, which is, I don't want to cut on Hugh. I don't want to just make videos cutting on Hugh. But from what we've seen, even with Crowell not running these guys enough, Norway was kind of pissed off about that. But I want to see this kid this year. I don't want him to do what they did with, Matthew Days, who I actually really liked. I think it was North Carolina. If you stopped him, you beat that team. I wanted to see what he could do, because I think he is Duke-esque, or, that kind of, that one cut running back. And I thought, he was cut, he's young, he's younger, he's not as beat up as Duke. I really want to see more of this kid. So I really hope they don't, do the rookie thing with him and just kind of hold him back. And, we need to get Carlos Hyde more runs because he's got seniority, whatever might manifest into being him seeing less of this kid. Because I think it's really possible that this kid could be the most productive player this year in the NFL. I really do. Watching his good stuff, watching his bad stuff, he's running through arms, he's in very small holes, and he's that L factor. He's running with confidence, like these 350-pound guys. You better get my core, or you're not going to get me down. So if you've only seen the highlights, I do recommend watching, all handoffs, or the verses. It's really a great way to watch what this kid's about. And I did mention Hugh Jackson. I'm sorry, I got notes and I'm reading it, but I do feel he could be. And of course, I know I don't want to sound cliche because they probably said this about the first 100 picks in the draft, but. And I really don't think that I'm saying it just because he's a Brown now. Because, to tell you the truth, I was a Saquon Barkley guy. Get Saquon at 1, get him at 4, get your Bradley Chubbs, get your Ward, move up in the draft, get Rudolph. I was kind of that whole mix. And I'm always wrong in every draft, just like probably a lot of people. But looking more, you see a little bit of Chubbs. He's good. Everybody says he's good. I'm not really big on what everybody else just says. I really like to see for myself and analyzing that whole thing. I really love analytics. As this channel progresses, I'd like to talk a lot more about that. But I don't want to feel. Be synthetic or whatever the next guy is saying. Watching this kid, I felt he was very special, and besides like a fucking piano falling on him or something like that, as long as he stays injury free, I don't think he's going to have any trouble in the passing. It's pretty obvious to me why Georgia used Chubb the way they did. He's very good at what he does. And I know Saquon. Even if you watch Saquon's face during the combine, he's just kind of got that every time Chubbs does something, he's got that what, like look at this kid, So that's kind of cool, and hopefully they both, flourish, But once again, I want to apologize for all the knows and wiping my nose and all that stuff, without, I could cut it out with editing, but I kind of wanted to be raw myself when I started this and try to be natural and try to say stuff that other people aren't, not just to be like an idiot, but, try to get subscribers with content rather than editing and funny shit and people falling, which I love. But, so I'm kind of signing off here. I think Nick Chubb's going to be great. I hope we see more of him. I hope they don't do the, rookie card with him and give Hyde and Duke more time than maybe this kid should deserve. Even though I'm not talking Hyde and Duke down. I'm just saying, I do think this kid's really going to be good. And I hope we see a lot of them. And, I hope you agree. If you don't, what's that? Subscribe, hit the little belly thing. Comment on my stuff. I really appreciate it. If you want, it's Rudy G Funk. God bless you.